Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to my first YouTube Let's Play of Humankind. Been having a lot of fun doing some streaming for Humankind here, but eager to jump into a dedicated YouTube series for it. Just so you know, this is the press release version of Humankind. Depending on when this video goes live, the game may actually be live and available for everyone, but at this time the full release is not yet there. My press release copy should be basically the same as what you'll see on release day, although I know there were a couple of known issues in this one that they'll have fixed for release, so that's going to be great. But overall, I've had no problems. I have played some during the closed beta, the open beta, and I've streamed a little during the this press release build. I've also played a couple of games on my own at this point, including here this one I ended up as Brazil over here in the end. Still by no means an expert on Humankind, still learning because it's a big, complex, crunchy game, but I'm having a ton of fun with it, and I'm very eager to jump into a proper Let's Play here as myself. Let's go ahead and jump in. Now, these first couple of videos, I will be making a lot of sort of tutorial-type comments, because I expect there's going to be a lot of people who are getting Humankind and would like some extra tips on just how to get started. And that I can do! Maybe I don't know all of the super pro winning strategies yet, but I can at least tell you what buttons to click most of the time. I will say this, a lot of people, when they jump in these strategy games, they're always tempted to play on the biggest possible world with like lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of different competitors, but usually that's not a great idea. First of all, if you put in too many people in here, the world is going to feel a little bit too crowded, and it might not be as much fun. You won't have as much room to breathe. And with the larger world, sometimes the games can just take a lot longer, especially if you increase the pace as well. And for your first couple of games, really, you just want to kind of get through them, and then you can start a new one after that. And then you can go to a bigger size. But because, like, the first one, you're going to be learning so many things, screwing up so many things, you're going to be eager to restart things. In terms of difficulty, when I loaded up this press build, the Metropolis was set as the default over here. And apparently there is quite a big jump in difficulty between Metropolis and Nation. At this time, I don't have all the information as to what these exact difficulty levels do. I suspect what happens is that with Nation, the AI doesn't hold back. The AI uses its full bag of tricks, and its full bag of, all of its knowledge, and then down here, the AI might not do things, might not do all the things the same way, might be a little bit more passive. And then what I suspect is with Empire, Civilization, and Humankind, the AI, in fact, gets significant boosts to its gameplay. Now, I'm going to be playing on Nation over here, which I believe means I'm on even footing with the AI. If you are new to the channel, you should know that I do play a lot of Civilization, and while I'm absolutely not the best Civilization player in the world, by far, I mean, if you literally watch any of my videos, you'll know that. I do always play on the maximum difficulty in Civ, which is Deity, and I win almost all the time on that. However, this game is still proven to be quite a bit of a challenge because it's still kind of trying to learn some things. So there you go. So I'm going to be playing on Nation, normal pace, large, and I'm going to be playing with a total of 6 competitors, including myself over here. I'm going to go ahead and hit start, and the load time's not too bad, I find. I do have it installed on an SSD, and I have an okay computer, although at this point, I can't remember when I rebuilt it, a couple of years ago. Still, it's pretty good computer, don't get me wrong. But I think the SSD is particularly nice for the load time. This loads faster than Civ 6 does for me. I don't know why. I think this has more voices and stuff like that, and the graphics look really nice, but, maybe it's something to do with how the textures are being streamed in or something of that nature. You know what might help? Is just the fact that this has a loading screen, where Civ 6 does not. There's going to be a lot of comparing between this and Civ 6.
Another dawn of humankind.
Now, I will say this. Some people might be asking, what is this game most similar to? Well, the obvious answer is Amplitude Studios' other games, which would be Endless Legend and Endless Space. And there's certainly some mechanics that carry over from those. However, I really feel like the vibe you're going to get playing this, the thing that it feels the most similar to, is Civilization, in particular Civilization 6, with the hexes and the districts that you put down. Even though mechanically this game plays so different from Civ 6. In terms of feel and vibe, Civ 6 is definitely what you get, because, I mean, it's a historical strategy game, turn-based strategy game, so, that's going to be the comparison over there. All right. The start of the game, we do start off as just a nomadic tribe over here. We've got a single group of hunting party over there, and our goal is twofold at this point. First thing we want to do is we want to advance past the Neolithic era. And the way we would do that is by accruing stars. Now, this star mechanic is going to be something that's going to exist throughout the game. In the Neolithic age, it's very simple. All you have to do is earn 1 star, and you can advance to the next era. You can do that by growing your population to a size of 5, or by accruing 10 science, or by killing a total of 5 animals. Actually, I think killing 5 of any unit might count for this if you fight another AI, but most likely you're going to be hunting animals. So you just have to do one of these things, and that will be enough to advance you to the next era. So if you want to advance quicker, focusing on one of these 3 stars might be the most efficient. You can't really do the hunting probably unless you boost your population, but the fact of the matter is you're going to hit a smattering of everything. And in particular, you're going to want to discover some curiosities, which is where you get knowledge, partially because of the science, but also because these curiosities will tend to give you influence, which is what we're going to need to plant our first outpost, which is our second goal at the start of the game. This game doesn't have conventional settlers. I mean, technically, yes, there is a unit later on called a settler, but it's a little bit different. The way you generally build cities is any unit you have at any point in the game, any military unit, anything like that, can build an outpost to claim territory, and then that outpost can be upgraded into a city afterwards. And that's generally how you will build your cities until you unlock this specialist kind of settler unit, which again comes later. So it's like, it's weird because the sort of normal way you're used to founding cities in these turn-based strategy games is it becomes the special or more unusual way almost in this one here. Now you'll see the term territory. The map is divided into territories. You see these dashed lines over here. This outlines one particular territory over here. And when you plop down an outpost, you do claim the entire territory. And when you turn that outpost into a city, the city can work all the tiles in this territory. And in fact, more than that, because you will be attaching adjacent territories as well. You see that we actually have horses over here, which is really good. When you're trying to figure out where to place your starting outpost, your starting city, nabbing some resources. There's luxury resource, but there's also strategic resources like horses or copper, and those are very important gets as well. So right now I don't really have a good idea where to go on my character, my unit over here, which I can left click to select. I've currently got a movement speed of 4. You could turn on auto explore, but I don't think that's the right thing to do early on in the game. I am a very laser player. I'm a fan of auto explore, but I think it would be a mistake to do this early. Your army, which is what you have selected over here at the start of the game, can have up to 4 units in it. Currently, we have 1 unit, a single tribe in here. I can click on this and actually get some more interaction with the specific tribe unit in this army. You'll also see that it's got a ghost image here of the second one. If we collect 20 food, we'll actually get a second unit in this hunting party. So I'm going to move. Now, I would definitely recommend moving 1 tile at a time to start off with, because you are looking for stuff here. And especially if you can get that at higher ground, oftentimes you can get more vision. Forests and hills and things like that can block your vision. Rivers are very special. Entering onto a river tile, you see that little icon, tends to end your turn. You can see movement point to enter. See at the bottom left corner of the screen where I'm mousing right here? If I do this, see it says movement point to enter, all remaining. It eats all your movement points to enter into a river tile. But then if you walk along a river, you can move very quickly. So it would sort of suck to enter a river as sort of your first move of a turn, because that would all you can do. But if you can enter a river as sort of the last move of the turn and then follow a river, it's quite nice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to enter over here on this tile. This is a tile that's got some food resources of some kind.
Sustenance, security, and pleasure.
We've got a great little
Wonderful
flavor
stuff.
text going on here.
This
is a freshwater harvest. This is, I think, the most that you can get here. I think they come in 5, 10s, and 20, or sorry, 5, 10s, and 15s. So we picked up 15 food over here. We need 5 more to grow. And anyway, that's the end of my turn. I've used all my actions, so I'm going to go ahead and hit end turn. And then where are we going to go? Well, I'm going to prefer to go uphill and get more vision that way again. There is another resource of some kind of strategic resource over here, but we don't know what it is. This will be revealed once I can't show you the tech tree right now because the Neolithic era, but very soon I'll be able to show you the tech tree. Some technologies will let you exploit these strategic resources. Once you have the ability to research those technologies, this strategic resource will be revealed. And then once you actually research the technology, you will be able to work that resource. So this could be any of a later slew of strategic resources. I think even iron isn't visible at start, but it could be oil, coal, uranium, that sort of thing. So I'm going to walk up the river. One of the things that's kind of nice sometimes is, sort of mouse ahead to see how you would path there. Oh, this cliff is too sharp. I actually can't come up here. Interesting. Now, when there's fog of war that hasn't been explored yet, the pathing doesn't know what the tile looks like on the other side. Here's what's interesting here is because this tile isn't explored, the Pathfinder doesn't actually... It assumes that we can walk over there, except that we actually have vision that there's a cliff, so we actually can't work our way up the cliff, so that's no good. I might just want to turn around and go backwards over here. So yeah, I like to sort of click forward and see what kind of path it sort of suggests, but then I like to manually walk one tile at a time, because if you spot something along the way, you're going to want to make sure to go to it. And if I clicked over here, I would have walked this way, seen it, but my unit would have walked all the way over here. And
Even those who have disappeared may have done something very clever.
So there's a curiosity. It gave us 2 science. Remember, 10 science gets us a star. It also gave us 5 influence, and that is very important, because 5 influence is how much we need to claim our first territory. And we're going to want to do that as quickly as possible, because it does take a few turns before the outpost is established. And you really want your outpost to be fully established before you change eras. And the reason for that is, as soon as you go into the next era, the ancient era, you can upgrade your outpost into a city. You can't do that during the Neolithic era. So you want to have an outpost ready to go for when you change that era. I'm going to go ahead and move a little bit more to see what we can see. We've got silk over here, which is a luxury deposit, a luxury resource. It's going to give us industry and money, and it's something we can trade later on and probably make a few bucks by using that. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and hit the claim territory button, which lets me put the outpost. Now, what happens if you do that? The game will look around at the tiles nearby, and we'll see if there's a decent tile that you can build on. And so it's suggesting, hey, maybe you want to build it over here. This outpost, eventually when it becomes a city, especially, I mean, technically this is, some of what I'm about to say does apply to the outpost, but especially when it becomes a city, what it does is it works whatever's on the tile here, as well as what's in every adjacent tile. And that number you see there, the plus 14, plus 10, that's the total amount of work that's going to be happening on these tiles. If I go and just right-click to cancel this, and turn on this button over here, this will show the yield of every tile on the map. And the city will work each one of those tiles in there. So it was recommending this spot over here. And yeah, it looks pretty good. I mean, this tile here's 5 food and plus a production. That's a 6 value tile right over there. Really nice to settle near. But we don't have to listen to the game. It says that. But if I settled over here, what do we get? Well, less food, less industry. Unless there was some other thing about the positioning that might make that tile appealing, then maybe. Here we actually have a tile with more food, 15 food. The city here would grow faster, but have a little less initial production. Also notice right underneath where it says 15.8, right over here where I'm mousing, see that 4? That's how many turns it'll take for this outpost to establish itself. The outpost needs a certain amount of production to build itself. And so tiles with more production will build an outpost faster. Whereas if we go over here, like let's say we found a tile here with 20 food, right? 20 food definitely can happen, and 4 production. Well, that's when it becomes a city, it'll grow very quickly, but it will take a long time to establish the outpost. On the other hand, right now we'd have to walk all the way back over here. Well, it'll only take me a turn, which isn't bad, to claim that. I do think I'm going to claim this because not only is this a pretty decent place for our first city, I would say. It is protected by mountains and everything, which is going to be great later on, but it will also guarantee that we gain access to these horses. So even though I have to walk backwards, which I don't like at this phase of the game, I'm going to go ahead and make that click. Boom, 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 boom. And there we go. So this territory is going to be called Porima. When we do make it into a city, by that point we'll have taken a culture, and it will rename this territory or the city based on our culture at that point. So that's my turn. I'm going to end turn over here. Now, it will end your unit's turn to set up the outpost, but we don't have to stick around. The outpost is being built right now. That's great. Technically, it can be attacked by other players and things, but I don't think we really have to worry about that right now. So it looks like I'm probably just going to end up right back over here, which makes moving over here that much more disappointing. I'm going to do that. Now, I'm still going to move one tile at a time, because right now, those curiosities and food sources and things can reappear. They can respawn. So, still, even if you're walking into territory you've already seen, it's worth going kind of one tile at a time. So, we're one turn away from Porima being established as an actual outpost. I'm going to go to the high ground here, and find this curiosity. Well, I'm definitely going to go there, so I will click. Although, note, saw other things. Maybe I would have been like, if I'd gone here, actually, I probably would have backtracked to go there. I don't think it's going to matter, because I can get here in one turn anyway. But, done. Now, so I've got more influence, but I won't actually be able to set up another territory claim, because the next one's going to cost at least 20. It's going to cost 20 if it's adjacent to the one I've already got. It's going to cost more if it's further away. But we got a little bit more science. We got the influence. Groovy. Urgent affair. So, we got our first story little event that's happened. This is back at our outpost, the Fungal Hoarder. The shift to fixed abodes hasn't been easy for the tribesmen and women who'd settled in the outpost. They persevered and now thought of the land as home. When they discovered that one of their number had been hoarding mushrooms that he'd found in a nearby cavern for himself, it was a great blow to the spirit of the tribe. Now they want to banish him for his greed, but that would mean being deprived of the location of the mushroom field. What's your reckoning? So we've got 3 options to go here. We could banish this Fungal Hoarder, right? We might lose some extra fungi, but we'll make an example of him and post lookout so this doesn't happen again. This will give us a 25% discount on the city defense research later on, which isn't bad, but honestly, I don't know how big of a deal this necessarily is. We could protect. The tribes have made a mistake, but he'll learn, and the extra food will be welcome. Parima will get bonus food right now. Outposts do grow and do have population. I can actually shrink this down and come back to it in a second. Well, it doesn't matter right now because it's still being established. But Parima has a population count over here, and this will grow from the food, even before we set up the city. And that will carry forward, which is going to be kind of nice. So that's a possibility. Or we could retain. The man will leave the settlement, but will remain of the tribe. His days will be dedicated to learning more about the strange species. I think this might just be giving us a flat, permanent +2 science. Now, in the long run, +2 science not going to mean much. But early on, that actually should shave some time off our research. I feel like retain is probably worth more than banish. Protect is tempting. Having a higher population faster is good. Which one of these is best? I don't know. At this point, we're still trying to figure out some of the meta and pacing, but I like science, so I'm going to click retain over here. And it's not going to do anything right now because this isn't a city, but we'll see. Now, all I need is 3 more science to get a knowledge star, so we're really hoping we can get that. We know there's a science thing over here. Hopefully it gives us 3 and we can just jump into the new era really fast. It'll be a little odd because I actually don't have very many units, but although I can get the food pretty quick over here too. I'm going to pop this. It's only 1 science. Boo. All right. Well, you can't win them all. But getting this food should give me a 2nd unit, which either will let me explore twice as quickly because I can split them up, or will let me go and do attacks against creatures because I'll feel a little bit more confident. For example, there is a mammoth over here. So you can see I got my 2nd tribes member, and actually the food overflowed, so another one has started as well. If you do mouse over, you just with your army selected, just point at a target, it'll compare your strength. So we would have 20 strength versus its 13, so likely we could go and boop the mammoth. And I believe that booping them will also give you food. But right now, I think I'm more eager to try to find some science. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on one of my tribes in this army, this hunting party. Then I'm going to click transfer, and I'm just going to click here. So you see that? I've separated these units. Because what I'm going to try to do is just explore a little bit quicker. And I'm also going to keep an eye. If I do get to 20 influence, I'm going to be eager to go and claim a 2nd territory. Where do I want to go? Part of me wants to go over there, but it might be a little far. All right, let's stay up here. Again, I should have gone 1 tile at a time. See? I'm not taking my own advice. I should have gone 1 tile at a time. Quill, what are you doing? Oop, there you go, freshwater harvest. Got more food. I could split them up, or again, I could go and do some hunting. I only need 1 more population, actually, to grow to the next level. Because Parima must have a population now, and it does. And that's one of the things. If I'd taken the food in Parima, it would have grown faster, which means I would have gotten my population star faster. Outposts can build these tribe units. Building this unit will cost me 5 influence, and will cost me a population, because you're taking a unit of population here and turning them into these nomadic scouts wandering around. So you don't really lose the population. The population just becomes a mobile unit. You can also disband your units over here. It has to be inside your borders, but then you lose the unit, but it gets added as a population to the outpost or to the city. And we'll definitely be making use of that. Okay, I think I'm going to just head west with this guy.
Yes.
Now, he doesn't have any food in his stockpile over here currently. Oh, we did find some more science. If it's at least 2, that's only a 1. So we need 1 more science, or we need enough food to make a 2nd unit over here to be able to complete things. Or I could go around killing 5 units, but I think that's not really going to be particularly quick. So we'll just next turn over here, click on the next idle army here. The mammoth, I didn't actually point it out. Let me split, because this is going to be safe. Let me do that. We should see the mammoth. No, he must be hiding right over there. Oh, I can't come down this cliff, really? Well, I'll come over here. It's fine, just so I can show you. See, it's got the peace symbol. This unit is a pacifist and will not attack us. If it had I think it's a lightning bolt. If it had that, then there is then they are going to be aggressive and try things. This mountain pass here wasn't actually very good for vision. Also, there are fewer chances that we'd see something that had spawned. So in a sense, that might be unoptimal. But, oh, Sanctuary, we should talk about those too. These things, as well as many things you'll find on the map, can be ransacked, which is this button over here. And ransacking things will give you various benefits. Got an event over here, Seed of Idea. Yesterday, the tribe came across a vast tract of wild grain, the stalks swaying in the breeze like the wind playing over golden waters. The ground-down grain could feed the tribe twice over, but one of the tribal elders has another idea. Instead of pounding the seeds into flour, she suggested planting half of them so the grasses may return next summer. It's a curious idea, at odds with the nomadic life, but perhaps a harbinger of the future. What should you do? So we could plant it to get a 25% discount on the domestication research cost once we start doing research, or we could grind it. And while we are in the nomadic tribe era, which is now, we would get bonus food on the city or outpost. So our outpost would grow a little faster and maybe give us our last population. I don't think we're going to get much benefit out of this. Well, we could, hold on. We might be able to take a look at when we think Prima is going to grow. So currently it's getting 13 food per turn. And it's going to get 1 point of population in 4 turns. So I don't think the extra food's really going to make much of a difference. We'll go ahead and plant it, and we can get the tech research speed boost, which is going to be nice. So this unit here can't really move. I could maybe hope that the mammoth wanders away. I think I will do that. I'm just going to stay here. So I'm going to hit this button to skip. I could also hit station, which will sort of put the unit to sleep and not bother me. But I'll just skip until next turn with this unit. So, we're going to ignore that guy. Oh, everything's cliffs everywhere. Oh, okay. Now, this unit doesn't have any food yet. It's not going to be a growth anyway. It's only worth 5 food. But that's still something. I suspect this is actually all cliffs, but I'm going to do this for a lot of vision. That science would definitely put us into the next era. This is actually, I feel like this might be taking a little longer than I would like, but... Now, these dry... Yeah, I was going to say this is only 5, because when it's on the river, I think, is when you can get the 15. So following rivers really does have a pretty nice benefit. What I'm going to do is I'll come over here, so... Oh, there's more food. So I can showcase ransacking stuff. Oh, I can't come down this way. Alright, well, let's do that. I'll move one... Oh! You punk. Okay, but we did get science spawning over here. There we go. It was bitter because there was a science thing that appeared there. That's what... Move one tile at a time. Don't do what I do. Do what I say. We actually got an event here, too. These will pop up down here, and the game will also prompt you to deal with the events. You don't actually have to click on the unit. Tribe's Legacy. Stand at a crossroads. For many moons, the tribe has trekked the wilderness, slowly, tortuously learning the secrets of this world. How the materials hidden in the deep places and in plain sight may be fashioned to the tribe's advantage. How the beasts and plants of the lands and seas can be more fruitfully harvested. And how myths and stories can glacially, but inescapably, give power over our greatest enemies, other tribes. Now you must decide in what domain the tribe will truly sharpen its knowledge for the age to come. Will you be around as makers, farmers, or charmers? So, oh, this is going to give us a legacy trait. So, with the makers over here, we've got Waddle and Dobbs, so we'll, I guess, permanently have +1 industry for population. Plant lore gives us +1 food for population, and astronomy gives us +1 science for population. The thing is, all of these are really good. More food means you have more people, which means you just have more stuff, including more food, right? More food means more people, which means more food because of this, or they'll work in the makers' workshops, or they'll work in the things. The makers mean you will build the buildings that improve all your people faster. And storytellers means you will discover the technologies that make... Oh, this is tough. I feel like early on in the game, I really do like to wait towards either production or food, because, you know, the tech will come if you've got the people and if you've built the buildings, is how I always kind of feel about it. Like, technology is really important in all these 4X games, but I think getting the initial kind of kickstart might be the goal. And in fact, I think I'm going to just go with farmers. Because I think a big population, from as far as what I've experienced so far in this game, having a larger population really does feel quite beneficial. So I'm going to take that for some bonus nutrition. I may as well finish my move over here. You're on the food source, which is, I'm going to be honest, that's a little annoying there, Mr. Mammoth. But there you go. So you do get this pop-up. You were going to get this pop-up at some point, like this turn, when everything else was done, it was going to remind me. I don't actually have to enter the new era right now. If for some reason I wanted to, right? I could just end turn right now and keep playing a nomadic tribe. There's not much of a reason to do that, though. So I'm going to click on here and pick our culture. So what we're doing here is we're advancing to the ancient era, and we are picking one of the cultures to advance as. You will change your culture multiple times over the course of the game. These are all ancient cultures that will come and go, although there are modern Egyptians, right? These are ancient Egyptians. Later on, you can actually run into modern Egyptians, for example, which is kind of fun. I don't know what the meta is going to shake out in terms of what turns out to be best. There's really three things, well, sort of four things that you're picking from over here when you're considering a nation, a culture. The first thing is actually way up here, the Expansionist Trade. I'll come back to this later on. This one here might be the most important, I don't know, because this is a permanent boost that will stay with you forever, even when you change to other empires. So if we pick the Assyrians first, we will permanently have +1 land movement speed, and also extra combat strength when we're ransacking. That's permanent. In addition, while we're in this era, while we are Assyrians specifically, we can build the Dunu District. This is a special district that only they can build. This one happens to give us extra influence, more district fortifications, defensive place, and then combat strength for combats in or adjacent to the district. And then finally, we get our unique unit. I think they're not called uniques in this game. They're called, I can't remember. But basically the unique unit. So we get access to the Assyrian Raiders over here. So each one of these cultures, as far as I know, each one offers a unique district and a unique unit. Exemplary. I think they call it exemplary. I'm going to just say unique because it's simpler. So we get the Assyrian Raiders over here. The unique unit is going to be better than the normal units in this tier. But one of the things you really want to keep an eye on is what their requirements. You can see the Assyrian Raiders here need horses. Luckily, we know we're going to have access to horses because our first territory was claimed there. If we take a look at the Babylonians over here, they are going to generate extra science. So they generate bonus science for every technology research, but only in our capital. This here is going to be really nice early on because once you get one or two technologies done, you get some nice little free science just to help you snowball it a little bit more. On the other hand, later on in the game, you're going to be making hundreds, if not thousands, of science per turn. So this benefit doesn't really feel very impactful past the early game. But to contrast, the movement speed is actually kind of sick. So that's tempting. On the other hand, the Babylonians have access to the amazing Astronomy House. The default behavior when you plop down a district is that the district costs stability. So that is normal. The Assyrian here is actually kind of a replacement for a military district. There's a military district called a garrison that you can plop down that doesn't cost influence. And this is basically the Assyrians' version of that, which is why this doesn't have a negative stability cost. But most districts will have it. That's just normal. So the Astronomy House here is interesting because it gives us science, but it sort of kind of halfway counts between a farm and a research quarter. So farm quarters and research quarters, these are normal regular districts that you can build. This counts as both, and a lot of things do adjacency bonuses with each other. So the Astronomy House gives you science per adjacent farmers quarters, and it itself counts as a farmers quarter, so you can lump a bunch of these together, or you can put down a farm first and then put an Astronomy House next to it and get lots of extra early science, which is really beautiful. Our unique unit over here is I don't know how those S's and A's are supposed to be pronounced, but the Sabu-Sa Kasti? The Sabu over here. This needs bronze, which I think I saw silk. I don't know if we've seen bronze. So the Babylonians would be great for the Astronomy House for us right now, but maybe less good for the unique unit. Egyptians permanently give you a boost to industry on tiles that already produce industry. And this is actually pretty good, and it's cheaper to build those industry tiles. The Egyptian pyramids are quite spiffy-do as well. They give you a bunch of extra industry early on, as well as influence. We know influence is used to claim territory. It's also used to found cities, and also to merge cities and territories together. Influence is really powerful. I'm a big fan of the Egyptian pyramids over here. I also really like the Markabatas over here. So they are mounted units. They need horses. They move quite quickly, but they're ranged units. And I really feel like the Egyptian range unit here is really nice early on if you've got access to horses, which we do. We got the Hrappans, the Hittites, the Messinians. All of these are good for different reasons. The Nubians, industry and money long term, which is nice. They also have their unique archer. Nice thing about the archers, though, is you don't need any resource. If you didn't hit horses or copper, then maybe consider the Nubians, because you know you're going to be able to build their unique unit, and that's really handy. Olmecs influence food. Food early on to scale up is really nice. One of the things here, the ranged unit. Now, I haven't actually tested the javelin thrower specifically, but there's another javelin unit. I think the Aztecs get it. There's a slight and unclear difference in this build and with these tooltips between ranged units. Some ranged units can do indirect fire. They can shoot over mountains and over the heads of units. But they're really bad if they ever get attacked in melee. So those are archer type units. Archers can fire indirectly, but tend to get beat up really badly in melee. There's another class of ranged units that are referred to as gunners. Gunners, they don't do the indirect fire the same way, but when they get attacked in melee, they still fight back with their full strength. I don't know what these javelin throwers count as. Apparently, that is something they know. They need to tweak these tooltips to be a little bit clearer on that. Phoenicians have some cool boat things and lots of money. I think it's the Zhao. Except I feel like I pronounce it 3 different ways and people always correct me to something, but I don't know what they correct me to and I get confused. Anyway, these guys over here, they're actually stupendously good. Stability is something that is really, really, really important throughout the entirety of the game. And it's not one of these scaling ones, right? Where like early on 2 science is exciting, but later on like you're making thousands of science, so it doesn't matter. Anytime you can get a few more points of stability tends to be really, really good for the entire game. This is a district here that instead of costing you stability, gives you stability, plus it gives you science, which is amazing. Their harmonious thought, all your districts from the rest of the game give you +2 stability. So really what it means is your districts give you -8 stability instead of -10, which is really amazing. Their unique unit here, the Zanch, are also stupendously good. However, you do need both horses and copper. Now, I'm going to pick something very soon here because this video has gone on kind of long, but I'm going to take a quick glance, and I don't see any copper, and I'm pretty sure copper is revealed early on. This is silk. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm a big fan of the Zhao Zhu people, the Zedders. But I think I'm going to take Egypt, because I think Egypt is grand, and we know we're going to be able to build their Markabatas. So I'm going to go ahead and do that over here. And I've picked Egypt a few times because they're good. I picked Babylonians a few times. I picked the Zhou a few times. Big fan of those personally. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to walk like Egyptians. I'm going to get a costume upgrade. Fantastic.
Entering this era as the Egyptians, then? No prizes for guessing how you plan to leave your mark.
That's right. We're going to build things. We're going to build things that are kind of triangular is what we're going to do. Oh, and we are going to be attacked by a grizzly bear over here. But we're going to pick that up next time. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're looking forward to this Humankind Let's Play as much as I am. If you are new to the channel, hey, welcome to the channel. Do make sure to subscribe, like, you hit the bell, whatever thingies, because it really does make a bit of a difference. Looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.